Well, it's a good morning to you and welcome to another week on your favorite breakfast show designed to jumpstart your week. And oh geez, look who we have here. Titi's back, yay! We actually missed you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Missed you too.
Thank you very much.
From the moment your alarm goes off, we've got your back. Serving up a blend of lively conversations, engaging banter, and of course, loads of interesting topics.
Yes, indeed. It's the most energizing way to actually kickstart your Monday every single morning here. In fact, we are here to inject a hefty dose of enthusiasm and entertainment into your early hours just so that you get out with a big smile on your face and everybody welcomes you wherever you step into.
So you can see this as your morning workout. Well, the workout for the mind. Simply just getting ready for the days and, of course, week ahead. We are your perfect companions to elevate your morning to new heights.
Absolutely. Love that little hoarseness to your voice.
What?
There.
You like
wow.
it? Yeah.
Sounds very French.
Well,
But in any case, I'm sure you had a fantastic 2 weeks from work.
yeah, well.
Unless you used it working, then that kind of like defeats the purpose.
You know.
As we normally do as Nigerians.
It's a conversation.
Maybe we'll have it during the show, yes?
It's a very appealing conversation.
Oh, well, that's a very TT-ristic way to... Doesn't work. In any case, an exciting 2 hours is just up ahead of you for entertainment, and it's about to kick off. So hold on tight to whatever it is you're sitting on. Hopefully it's just a chair, nothing else. And we're going to absolutely be the ones to usher you in a fantastic week. My name is Mazino Appeal.
And I'm Titilaya Oyinson. Remember, you can also watch us on GOTV channel 16 and UHF channel 49.
And also, remember to watch us from absolutely anywhere if you have the app installed on your phone, which we always ask you guys every single morning to do. It's free, it's easy, it's iOS or on Google Play Store.
And our hashtag is always alive on all social media platforms to be a part of the best breakfast show on Nigerian TV.
Yes, so please follow us on all these platforms.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram. Have you joined Threads yet?
I'm threading along with everyone right now.
So I think a compilation of threads is called a string.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I came up with that myself.
Wow.
I hope it catches on.
You better trademark it before Mark Zuckerberg takes it.
Y'all can have it, it's all good. In any case, let's let you guys know what you're in for a Monday morning. We begin with, well, some very fantastic, interesting content for you guys. Coming up, we are going to be having a musical performance. Hang on a second. Yes, motivation actually is going to come your way. And we have Gabriel in the house here today. He's going to be giving us some motivation to jumpstart your Monday morning.
Then we have a performance. Davis Hottish is going to be here. He describes himself as one of Nigeria's biggest crossover acts, having worked overseas. I'm a pioneer act, and hey, he's going to be giving us some of that vibe this morning.
Now, finally on the couch, we'll be having our very first and current, president of the African Producers Network, multi-purpose corporate society, Onyimu Rachel Odangla. Now, she is the CEO of Grace Blossom Excel, a business enterprise that provides women with premium menstrual hygiene products as well as organic skin food. Now, Rachel will be telling us more when she joins us.
All right, then.
Welcome, Monday. Hey, let's give a big welcome back to our mother of the house.
Titi.
Oh, mother of the house.
Yes, indeed you are. You are the mother of the house, aren't you?
Goodness me.
I want to tell you something about the first time I started working here. She actually filled in that role very, very nicely, helping me get settled and everything. The mother hen, like we like to call her in any case. Just in case you guys didn't know, Titi is the mother hen of Wake Up Nigeria. We like it so. She's also our cheese expert.
Wow.
And without her, there's a certain lack of cheese, which we love.
But you know, we know you're wearing red, but you don't have to pepper anybody. Can we move on, please?
Okay.
That was some cheese right there.
No, it wasn't supposed to be cheese,
Hey,
but
it rubbed off.
But you know, a Megan Trainor song just comes to mind now.
Which one?
That
Did
new
you
one.
look?
I am your mother.
you
Listen to me.
Exactly. In any case, it was a fantastic weekend for me. However, I couldn't help but notice a recantation that occurred over the weekend, I think since Friday. I think we talked about, hang on a second, a bit of disturbance in my ear. Yeah. In any case, let's talk about, don't know, it's inside joke, don't worry about them. Now, we talked about this last week, and Nesoma, the little girl, not so little, who, well, at this point, falsified her JAM result. We talked about it extensively last week, and we had certain positions on it, but some things have changed since then. You wanted to touch on that.
Yeah,
earlier.
so, you know, as broadcasters, you're supposed to be neutral, right? But everyone was so passionate about it that you just, yes, we acknowledge the fact that, okay, JAMB has to do their investigations and be conclusive about it. But we're more in favor of Soma because she came out talking about being traumatized.
Innocence of it all.
You know, the innocence of it all. And then finding out, you know, towards the weekend
She
that
actually admitted that she
had
falsified.
admitted. Now, there are also reports that she has sued JAMB for 20 billion naira over reportedly false info, like, you know,
That kind of thing.
that kind of thing. And so this matter is something that might continue to go on.
So the issue is, the reason why everyone just decided to defend her is because of the errors that have happened in the past.
Yes.
With so many other
We
people.
mentioned
The
that.
errors or the
Yes.
grievances we
The
individually,
grievances,
every adult in
yes.
Nigeria who's educated and gone through the university system actually has against JAMB.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, we all felt slighted one way or the other. Most people who've been through that system felt slighted one way or the other at how they were served. You go in to write JAMB, you get certain results, and you're not allowed to read whatever it was that you wanted to read. So everybody had a certain kind
It was a case of transfer of aggression.
So it was like
Yeah.
the people supporting the David and the David Goliath situation. So everybody kind of like ran to David and like,
And then
"Oh,
she
we're
turned out to
behind
be Goliath.
But
It would
now the
seem.
issue is, well, in my opinion, after a period of time and then someone admitting something, I feel like there could be some pressure there.
Like
So
cohesive.
there is
Some
that
pressure.
argument out there.
Yeah.
Yes, we did actually talk about that this morning, about the possibility. But at this point, she's admitted,
Admits, you
and then
admit.
that's it. Because until she recants it
That
or
admission.
says something else, or she's able to prove it, particularly in court, for now, the reality is, according to reports,
Yeah.
she's guilty.
Well, in any case, I'm sure we'll talk more or touch more on that topic as the show goes on. Thank you very much for joining us for Wake Up Nigeria. It's only the beginning. Welcome once again. You're welcome. It's time for the news. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, earlier yesterday, the heads of state and government of the authority of ECOWAS unanimously selected Nigerian President Bola Tinubu to lead the regional body as chairman of the Economic Community of West African States. And shortly after his emergence as ECOWAS president, member countries of the Economic Community of West African States have congratulated Nigeria for the successful conduct of Nigeria's elections that led to the emergence of President Bola Ahmed. The message, their message, was conveyed at the opening ceremony of the 63rd Ordinary Session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government. The President of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, in his opening speech, commended Nigeria for the sustenance of peace and strengthening of democracy in the West African region. He also said the situation in Mali, the Republic of Guinea, and Burkina Faso, with regards to the prolongation of the transition period, represents a regression of the values of democratic rule of law adopted by member states through the Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance.
I would like to extend our felicitation and best wishes in piloting the affairs of Africa's biggest economy and the largest country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To warmly congratulate our brothers President Ahmed Bola Tinubu of Nigeria and Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone on the election and their election respectively to the supreme magistracy of their country, and to wish them great success and considering the fact of these two great brothers people.
Now, elsewhere, the federal government says it is taking decisive action to ensure the timely completion of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project, which has faced significant delays. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works and Housing, Muhammadu Maman, made this announcement during his recent assessment visits to monitor the progress of the Abuja-Kaduna section of the road. The 375-kilometer Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project, which was awarded by the Buhari administration in 2017 with a budget of 797.2 billion naira, was scheduled to be completed within 36 months. However, despite the initiation of actual construction in 2018, the project remains unfinished after 6 years.
The assessment from the Abuja-Kaduna end, a lot of problems. But why the project actually slowed down is mainly because of the security challenges. Now that the situation has improved, The contractor has actually promised to deliver that by the first quarter of next year, the whole length of the project is going to be completed. And I think we are going to take his timeline.
Now, outside Nigeria, U.S. President Joe Biden is heading to Europe ahead of a NATO summit after several allies questioned his decision to send cluster bombs to Ukraine. The UK and Canada are among those who voiced concerns about supplying the bombs, which are widely banned because of the danger they pose to civilians. The U.S. says they are needed because Ukraine's weapon stocks are dwindling. Mr. Biden will be heading to Lithuania for this week's NATO summit. On Monday, that's today, after arriving in the UK, he will meet British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to discuss various issues, including the war in Ukraine. He will also meet King Charles for the first time since the king was crowned. Members of NATO, a military alliance of 31 Western nations, will then meet in Vilnius on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Do stay tuned. We've got more coming your way for Wake Up Nigeria. And you're welcome back. It's time for Coffee Gist. Yay! Mary's in the house here with us, and we're going to be talking about something very interesting. So, after the elections, there was a mad rush to get married. Everybody's like, oh, I'm getting married. Yay, one bit here and there. Yeah, some people getting married twice, as is in our story here today. Sort of. Wow. There was a video that popped up during the weekend on social media of a bride-to-be being apprehended by a fiancé whom she wasn't getting married to on the day. Now, she was in all wedding dress and everything. She was in a vehicle heading to her wedding, and she was apprehended by another fiancé whom she wasn't getting married to. The story is long. Apparently, that one, she had promised marriage, and that person had given her certain sums of money in anticipation of their union or stuff like that. Now, he came out and like, no, this marriage is not going on. She collapsed on the ground, spoiled her wedding dress, and then the story continues. I don't know if they got married
Another angle to
eventually.
the story that I saw, because, you know, they didn't give us the gist.
Not really.
But basically, the husband wouldn't be next to her if they hadn't gotten married. I think they had gotten married. We're heading to the reception.
Oh.
That's why the husband was there. Because the husband wouldn't be there if they had, you know, they were just about to get married.
That's another.
So I'm thinking that's it.
Yeah. But according to sources, that's like you.
The sources didn't give the story. It was all sketchy.
So now, whenever I see things like this, I really want to know the whole story. It feels like there are too many gaps in this story.
I don't want to know.
And I've just heard too many times of men lying about things like this and what the actual promissory note was. Who knows? Who knows if, you know, maybe she had actually told him no.
Initially,
insisting, yes. Who knows if he was using the money to sort of lure her to stay. I'm just saying there's so many angles.
There's so many angles.
But allegedly, you know, she was intercepted along the way. Whether to the,
that's the word.
maybe to the reception or maybe to the venue by a second.
It wasn't stated, actually.
My question now is, why it's always such an issue when it's a woman in this position?
Oh, of course it's an issue.
If it was a guy...
Yes, would gloss over it.
I don't think it would have been such news. And it feels a little... I don't know.
I'm not trying to be sure of this.
I really felt...
Mary had a very interesting story from 8 years ago.
Yes, about
Listen
8 years ago. You know, there's this segment I used to have, Solace Calls, where I reach out to people and all. And I made a call to a woman whose husband asked me to wish her a happy birthday. So I read the message, and I asked her for, before I read the message, I asked her for her husband's name, which is customary, what I do on the show. And she gives me a name, and it's not the name I have. And so I read the message, and then I ask her, this message is actually from this person.
Not that.
And then the next thing she asks, which most of them ask, is, are we on air? And I'm like, no, we are not. We are not live. And then she goes, well, that's my husband too.
Wow.
And I'm like, I was taken aback for like 2 seconds. And I was like, when you say your husband too, are you married to 2 men? She said yes.
This is a Nigerian woman.
A Nigerian
In
woman.
Lagos or where? What state?
I'm not giving details because I don't want our husband to be watching now and start getting suspicious. Because she gave us the states, as at that time. In fact, I can still remember the state her second husband was living. I still remember his name, but I don't remember his full name.
Okay, so how did this...
So what happened was, apparently she got married in Lagos. The husband insisted on marrying her first before sending her to school. After that, she went to school, then went for NYSC in another state, far from home, and fell in love. Now, meanwhile, she already had 2 children for her first husband. Wow. So falling in love in the camp, she didn't tell a new guy about the fact that she had been married before, or she is married. And she had to cut the long story short. Both of them got married again. She claimed she didn't have any family. They didn't take care of her. Like she just came up with some story for the guy.
She got married to another person.
And then she came back home. She now started shuttling. She claimed it was business.
Goodness.
Oh, wow.
She had 2 children for the one in the other states and still had 1 more for the one in Lagos.
Wow.
So I had to ask her, why aren't you ending this relationship? At least let one of them know and let that person go. She said the problem is she has happy marriages.
Wow.
The
Isn't
other
she
one
lucky?
is completely blissfully unaware, and her first husband also doesn't know anything.
Wow.
So
managing.
So I was very curious about how she was managing, and she said it was
with 2
pretty
children,
easy.
with children for both men.
It was pretty easy. According to her, all she had to do was register for courses in that place, and since the husband knew that's where she served, she made it clear that it was easier for her to get the courses done there. So she would travel, and then she was still doing business as well. She was selling gold, and oh my God, I'm giving too much. But you get the idea. So because of that, she was able to stay there long enough to have children. So sometimes she could even come back to Lagos, but her husband probably won't know that she's pregnant because sometimes men are oblivious to these things. And so by the time she goes back, she has the baby there. I thought it was the biggest mess I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think she is a criminal, first of all. Let me just put it out. She's the biggest criminal, and when they say men are scum.
Oh, wow. Really?
That she takes the cake.
Like, our oldest child in 2015 was 22 years old, about to get married.
Yeah, but
guys, haven't you heard of men having different families in different continents?
And then we're casted for it. We're insulted. I'm not saying I espouse to these habits, but you can imagine kind of vitriol that comes with that. Now, for a woman to successfully have 2, so it's supposed to be a good thing. Two happy marriages. She is good at this. She's criminal. She's like how to get away with murder type woman. I mean.
Well, so I think people are they ultimately just want to be happy. And whatever they use to find that happiness at that point in time, they're oblivious to everything.
Wrong,
else.
Titi. I disagree with you. It's a mental issue. If you go back to how she grew up, there was something lacking which she now wants an overdose of.
Okay.
And that's what's causing this. You might not see this, but things as simple as...
So are you saying the guys that have multiple...
She married young.
Let's remember that.
She married young.
Yeah, but the seed here is indecision, which is a mental issue, quite frankly, where you can't decide what you want, what you do. It's a mental thing. That can drive you crazy. We've all been in that instance. And for this woman not to be able to decide, should I tell this man, I don't want to get married to you, I don't want to be married to you again because I found love. She wanted that selfishness of the highest order. She should be arrested for that.
Break the first man's heart. He sent her to school.
At the end, imagine the impact. Imagine the impact. What happens at the end when he finds out?
No, they have 3 now. She had 2 before going for NYC. They still had 1 more for him.
So that's
her new husband.
So she
has
can't
2
leave the
children
first one.
He's gonna kill over when he finds out. I mean, that's just.
So it's
she
complicated.
Can't leave the first one
yes,
because of the parents.
and she cannot, break up with the second one because that's the one she actually loves.
So
it is complicated, but let me just
she has a
mention
true
this.
family,
I need to mention this. Many people do not know that in Nigeria, it is a crime, as in crime.
It is a
to
crime.
break an engagement.
Oh, hang on, I didn't know that.
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow.
And it is also a crime. Bigamy is a crime, except in Lagos.
Yeah.
And Lagos, your divorce must be in courts.
All right.
So you guys need to know all these facts. Very important.
We would love to hear your opinions on this. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Let's hear what you think. We'll be back with more.
Poor guy.
Good morning. It's about time for us to take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the newspapers this morning. Today, of course, is Monday, July 10th, 2023. Let's start with the Punch. It says here, ministerial appointment. National Assembly awaits nominees as Tinubu sends list to DSS, EFCC, others. Head of Service reshuffles secretaries ahead of minister's arrival. Orders on Tuesday resumption. Permanent Secretary writes Gbajabiamila Akume, security chiefs, others on redeployments. Right at the top there, it says cost of living. More Nigerians may join Japa train as hardship worsens. Subsidy removal, rising inflation threaten livelihoods. 9 million pushed into poverty. I wanted to touch a little bit on that because the cost of living actually really does alarm the average person. Even the little more than average person is showing some alarm. Of course, Mazino is right here on the couch with me.
Oh, finally, yes.
I apologize. I was just really engrossed by that particular headline.
I can imagine.
The jackpot train does seem to be getting longer.
Well, getting longer. It was long before. Right now, it's even longer. Even very average people are telling you that they're finding their ways outside of Nigeria with everything that is happening. FX, subsidy removal, especially the subsidy removal. I was seeing a report only just last night on television about how even petrol attendants are concerned at the rate at which Nigerians are no longer buying fuel because of its high cost. There's about 28% drop in the purchase of PMS right now. To show you that we're just like, being very conservative and people thinking, what are the alternatives? And the biggest alternative right now is to actually leave the country. We don't know when this is going to end, hopefully before the end of the month or next or so and so. There are other headlines here which will touch on what I'm about to say and the fact that Nigeria might experience a food crisis in the next couple of months. But let's continue with the headlines from inside the Punch newspaper. There was one I wanted to touch on, very unfortunate instance from yesterday. 18 Benin Republic bound partygoers, driver, motor boy die in Lagos crash. This is along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, and I've been in that part of Lagos recently. There's plenty of road constructions going on. So what it means is the dual carriage is now just one way. So going and coming, you're using the same patch of road. And especially when it's rainy, it can be very slippery. And there's so much movement because the overhead pedestrian bridges are not yet constructed. So in this case, however, it was a case of the driver finding out that there's a truck ahead of him while he was trying to overtake another one and running head on into that one.
Goodness me.
And it was a very bad situation, as we can tell. Many people lost their lives there.
Very sad, extremely sad. And I do believe there has to be something that we can do to at least reduce these incredible statistics of road traffic accidents in Lagos especially. It just feels like the statistics are getting higher and higher every single year. Let's see what we have. We have the Daily Times newspaper as well. It does say here, resurgence of killings nationwide tops NAS agenda for this week. Security chiefs face tough screening and some ministerial nominees fail routine clearance. It also says here, there is a photo story. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Okay, I'm trying to look at the...
Oh, don't worry, we can move on to the next one.
It's a bit blurry at this point. But what I can see here is we know military personnel involved in illegal oil bunkering, according to the Niger Delta Group, backs Dakubo. It says here, why foreign airlines dread operating within Nigeria? Specifically, a Daily Times investigation there. There is a lot of investigative reporting going on now into different areas. And, of course, now... foreign airlines have often, maybe paused operations in the past with the hope that, maybe they can also balance out. Because I do believe trying to get people to pay in Naira has become a challenge because of the issue of FX. So even if they had sold tickets maybe 9 months before... Yeah,
everything changes by the time it's your flight time.
By the time it's flight time. And, of course, they have running costs. They have, obviously, jet fuel.
They've also got monies in the Nigerian coffers that they have not yet been able to take back. So all of that compounds the issues with foreign airlines. It's not easy doing business in Nigeria, especially at this time. Regarding the service chiefs, security chiefs, and the resurgence of killings in Nigeria, this is an assignment that they have to, at this point, take, at first hand. This is something that really needs to be tackled. So, and that's kind of like their scorecard. This point, for it to start coming back now, especially after the elections, I don't know if it's to be expected, but that would be the scorecard that we would judge them by, it would seem. But let's move on to our next daily, the Vanguard newspaper. You have a couple of headlines on there, don't you?
Yes, the Vanguard here has this major headline: governments of ex-presidents must not, or rather must account for the $5 billion Abacha loot. Federal High Court orders administrations of ex-presidents Obasanjo, Yar'Adua, Jonathan Buhari to account for the repatriated funds. Serap urges Tinubu to obey court order here. It also says at the top left, it says curfew as 12 die in fresh attacks on Plateau communities. And PIA, administrative challenges, inadequate funding, others hinder implementation. And there's still quite a few other headlines there. But I was actually going to touch on the issue of the $5 billion Abacha loot.
Yes, that's not going anywhere. That's going to keep coming back. It makes you wonder exactly how much was looted from Nigeria and how much is still left out there, because we keep understanding that there's more being discovered here and there. It's not a question of how much anymore. It's a question of when it's repatriated, where does it go? And we can see that it's a hefty sum of money, and it could do a lot for the different, bits of challenges that Nigeria is going through. But I would personally like to see that happen. A real accountability on where the funds are going eventually, because there's so much borrowing that that's going on. So maybe these will help, even if it's just by a fraction. Looking forward to that happening. There is somewhere it could actually aid, and that's in education, quite frankly.
Extremely important.
Education could be...
And then of healthcare.
Healthcare as well.
Healthcare is a
we'll talk about that on another headline. That's a different thing. So in education now, for education, the Vanguard's got this headline here: 200% hike in tuition fees lead to massive student dropouts, says the NAAT. This is a consideration we haven't thought about. If we have these situations currently with the hike in tuition and all of that, imagine the death in educated Nigerians we would have in the next, say, 10 years or 15 years, and what that's going to do to the economy itself, where people have to, I don't know, what, many will argue that it's not a bad thing because you'd resort to vocation instead
as
of...
opposed to tuition.
Exactly,
I'm thinking about the fact that all over the world, higher education is expensive. Tertiary institutions are expensive, which is why a lot of these institutions abroad tend to turn to foreign students for major funding.
Have you ever wondered why Nigerians excel outside the country when they go out for higher education? It's because education is almost free here, and we can get it, So if you make education expensive, then you're lowering the what do you call it? Standards. Of your populace generally, whether you like it or not. But just food for thought there.
But in the end, if our institutions were brought up to a certain standard, maybe we would be inviting a lot more foreign students into our country to, to learn here. And then, of course, the institutions wouldn't have to, in quotes, go on strike as many times as they do. It's a long thread of different issues there. Let's see what else we have here. Banks in earnings, windfall under high interest rate regime. Now that's a conversation for another day. Let's see which other papers we have here.
The Daily Trust.
The Daily Trust. Why local rice price continues to rise, according to millers and farmers. They blame corruption, inadequate supply, poor irrigation. They seek subsidy from federal government. And it says here, Tinubu must wade in. We supported 4.57 million farmers, according to CBN.
Big fear here regarding production of food. The fear is that with the hike in prices here and there, whether for agricultural produce or this and that, and especially transportation, that the subsidy that was removed from fuel might end up being the subsidy that is being put back into other segments of the economy. And it might just become a bit, at the end of the day, not come to fruition what we're looking to get. But
if fuel, if the subsidy, in my opinion, is taken away from fuel and put into farming, I think we
stand a better chance.
Yes, because in the end we can do without fuel. We actually can.
Oh, Titi, speak for yourself. I can't.
I feel like there are alternatives to that fossil fuel we're talking about. There is solar power. There is hydroelectric, of which we have loads of waterways you can look into. We have wind. We have so many other alternatives to power.
Now, these are not infrastructure you can put in place in a year or two.
Understood.
Whether you like it or not, Dangote refinery is still being built even up until now, after it's been commissioned.
Look,
that's a fact.
In my opinion, there are enough billionaires in Nigeria to put together some of these things. Let's have the Dangote conversation another time. But the issue now for me is putting this money into farming is definitely much more important. The issue of poor irrigation. We don't want to have issues like landslides. We don't want to have our farms flooded during the season when they're supposed to be reaping the harvest. We've heard so many stories of places like Otukpo in Benue State, having trucks and trucks of oranges and farm produce just wasting right there because there's just not enough good transportation for these products to come to other parts of the country. So it really does need to be looked into because in the end, it's another export we could consider to be a lot more beneficial to the economy. But rice, of course, the staple food. Hopefully, the right people are listening and the right authorities can get involved.
I wanted to say to you and to everybody else, if you've never visited Otukpo, then you've never seen Nigeria at its finest when it comes to producing food.
Yeah.
Benue State in general,
Yeah.
the food basket of the nation, overwhelmingly rich. I will go back there again.
Yeah.
Just to see
Beautiful
those
place.
mangoes the size of plates.
Well, at this point, we have to say thank you so much for joining us. And of course, we'd love to hear your opinion on some of these headlines. Use our hashtag #WakeupNigeriaonTVC. Let's see what you think. We'll be back after this. Hello and good morning. Now, every day we are all about creating a lively atmosphere right here to keep you smiling, hopefully laughing and fully embracing the potential of a brand new week.
Absolutely. Now, you're not just joining, or rather, if you're just joining us, well, hey, you should have been here since 7 o'clock, but it's okay. We still got more for you. A little earlier would have been good, but not to worry. Glad that you joined in any case. We have another hour to serve you up some hearty helping of excitement, inspiration, and motivation. That's coming too. That's going to launch you into your week.
The second hour comes with renewed vigor. Welcome to the last 45 minutes of the show. And hey, of course, Mary.
Yes,
looking
indeed.
Delectable in the kitchen.
Now,
there.
Mary, I have a question for you, Mary. I don't know if you can answer. Now, Mary, which would you rather eat? Would you rather eat a little goat or a matter baby?
A little goat.
Or a matter baby?
Why should I eat either of them?
Wait. Which one would you rather eat?
None.
A little goat or a matter baby?
Why do I feel like this is a trick question?
No.
Hang on. Mary, what's your answer?
No.
What would you have, a little goat or a matter baby?
Neither.
Don't you want to even know what it is?
No.
You don't?
No, not right now.
You've ruined it for me. Yeah, you're supposed to go, what's the matter, baby? And I'm supposed to go, nothing, what's the matter with you?
We were not trying to put our foot
guys-
in that one.
You're no fun, the two of you. Absolute no fun. Whatever. In any case, welcome back. Second hour here. My name is Mazino Appeal.
And I'm Titilaya Oyin. So remember, you can always watch us on GOTV channel 16 or UHF channel 49.
Yes, indeed. Also, please remember that you can watch us live. All you need to do is download us on your mobile device. You can do that if you're iOS or even Google Play Store. It's free for both.
And of course, our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria across all social media platforms is to be part of the best breakfast show on Nigerian TV. That's how we see your comments, your contributions, your pictures. Send them in.
Okay, now please do remember now to follow us on all of these platforms, please,
Yeah.
okay? Including Threads, I guess. Yes.
Yes,
And
we are
of
there.
course, yeah, Titi is a new, here since after she's been off for 2 weeks, and she's been very excited about Threads. You joined up. Why exactly? You didn't want to be carrying last.
No, that wasn't the issue.
Okay,
the
what
issue
was it?
I was just tired of what Uncle Elon has been up to. Yeah, Uncle Elon, we gave him a rest. All the business, all
So
that.
it's kind of like a competition. It's a race to see which one's going to be relevant in the next few months, I guess.
Well, I have a lot of faith in Mark Zuckerberg at
Okay.
this point. I do. I like that guy.
Anyhow,
All right.
let's let you guys know what we have coming your way shortly. We're going to be having a musical performance come your way, and we will have singer and songwriter Davis Aziz, popularly known as Davis Hottish. Now, he's described himself as one of Nigeria's biggest crossover acts, having worked in various overseas Amapiano acts. He will be giving us some Amapiano this morning.
And of course, for motivation, we will be discussing prioritizing for productivity. Gabriel is going to be here. He is a dedicated advocate for transforming learning and development into a strategic business driver, leveraging on a powerful combination of strategy, technology, people, and content.
Finally, on the couch, we'll be having the first and current president of the Africa Producers Network Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society, Oyiminu Rachel Odangla. Now, she is the CEO of Grace Blossoms Excel, a business enterprise that provides women with premium menstrual hygiene products as well as organic skin food. Rachel will be telling us much about her business when she gets here.
I was actually going through, the platform before Threads.
What's that one? Every other one?
Oh, please.
That one.
Oh, Twitter. Twitter.
so last year. But there is an American senator, well, former New York City mayor, Democrat de Blasio, and his wife of 29 years, Charlene. Now, they amicably split to date each other, but they're still living in the same house. I don't know how that's going
Date each other to
work.
date other people.
No. They've done an amicable split to date other people and still live in the same building. I don't understand.
They live in a mansion, I guess, so they don't have to see each other. Different wings of the house.
I don't think a mansion will be big enough for both of us.
I can't imagine how that works.
How?
It's very difficult.
So they probably have better interests being together than
Perhaps,
being apart.
yeah. Why split our fortune?
Yeah, so why split our fortune? So let's just...
I don't know.
like-
They're gonna have become one big happy
What's the difference
family
between that and
with
an open
different-
marriage? There's no difference between that and an open marriage, now, is there? It's the same
But
thing.
you know, open relationships always go sour. Look at Shakira, for example.
well.
Oh, she
and
was in one?
Gerard Piqué. Yes, they were
yeah,
actually...
that is true.
Yeah, at some point they were in an open relationship. Now,
Oprah's doing good.
Well, I don't think Oprah can marry anyone.
I don't espouse
She
to
just has
open relationships anyway. I think that's
I feel like it's
rather...
like lying to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
But I get it if it's a business decision. I get it if it's maybe for the kids. But I'm just wondering how the dining table will look. So, you know,
now
one
you will
side
not
of the
bring
dining table,
your-
the guy with his
No,
dates.
no.
The other side of the dining table, her guy, she'll be there. Who's going to do the cooking?
Very interesting there.
Whose dates?
The chef, perhaps.
Oh.
Yeah, the chef. They don't need to bother.
Now, I don't know if you saw the piece of news that we had for the Daily this morning about the Lagos-Badagry Expressway accident that happened over the
accident's
weekend.
awful.
Initially, it was 14, then 15. Now, apparently, it's being reported there was 18 people dead from that accident. Very sad because I've had an instance on that route myself. I was riding one of those. I mean, it was only just last month, and it was pouring with rain, and I realized how dangerous those roads are. Because they have this very, very interesting bank or very interesting swerve when you turn, and the roads are wide, and there's no demarcation. And because both vehicles going and coming and using the same road, it can be very hard to tell if that guy coming around the corner is on your lane. So when I saw that accident, I could imagine exactly what happened.
And it was reportedly raining heavily.
It was raining,
times.
and the roads are slippery and wide.
And they said there were claims that both of them were, you know, on high speed. But what I find really sad, so there were 14 people initially. With 9 survivors in the hospital.
After.
The baby passed, the 4-month-old.
Oh.
Then 4 people have now died again, meaning there are only 5 survivors who are still fighting for their lives.
Very sad.
Really sad. Really sad.
Terrible.
It wasn't that particular expressway, but I had an experience when I was a lot younger. I don't even think my parents know about this one. It was a similar situation. You couldn't actually see the demarcation of a roundabout. This was the former Lekki Expressway.
Oh, that's why they
what
were
it looks
taken
like
out.
now.
That's why they were taken out.
Yeah, and literally the vehicle, it's just God, really. Vehicle just went over the roundabout, landed on the other side. And it was like, you know, you're in free air for a bit, and then you land on the other side, but then
And
you
your
just
light
know-
flashed in front of
Yeah,
you.
well, it wasn't even my life that flashed before me because
Who's owing me money?
it was no,
Look
it
at
was
you.
actually the fact that another oncoming vehicle did exactly the same thing.
Wow.
And we saw another vehicle that had just done it
Oh dear.
in front of us.
Was it
why
raining?
it had
So
to be taken
it
out.
was really bad.
So
Was it raining that day?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And so imagine how bad it is.
here's a call out to anybody and everybody who's actually driving out there in the rain, especially that's the season we're in. Everything becomes like is reduced by 25 to 30%. Your braking, your visuals, everything is just so you want to be very careful because it's very dangerous, especially on Lagos roads. Here. In
Yes.
fact, not just Lagos roads, Nigerian roads.
Yes.
Something that happens is that potholes also get covered by water.
Yes.
So if you
you
think
don't see them,
actually
you don't
run
even know
into-
how bad they are. We experienced that this
there is
morning
a
as well.
patch of road just after what's it called again? Abraham Adesanya on Lekki Expressway. Once you pass Abraham Adesanya, there's a humongous pothole on the
That one is a
right side
crater,
of
it's
the
no
road.
more
It's a
pothole.
crater. It's really huge. It takes about 1/3 of the road. Now people don't see it, and when they go into it
It's
at high
a
speed, they
slam.
come out the other side without their wheels.
Oh, goodness.
Stop it.
Without their wheels. Exactly. So it's like total shift. And it's happened so many times. Each time I'm going there and I see, I'm always looking out for a
That's
bad
a major
vehicle.
road.
Yeah, it is.
it is.
I'm always looking out for a bad vehicle, and trust, I always find one on the side of the road that had just fallen prey to that crater.
Ha.
I'm wondering why it's not being fixed. Please, authorities, we're begging you. If you live in Festac, then you understand my plight. Festac is a fraction of its past glory. There are no roads anymore. Is it the 4th, 7th, 2nd, or 1st Avenue? All gone inside of Festac. No roads anymore. Please. We don't know who to beg anymore. Maybe God could come down and help us out. But it's a really bad situation right now, especially with the rains. You've been voted.
As it is,
do something.
Many roads, especially in estates, public estates in Nigeria, in Lagos, sef, so many bad roads in between. But bad roads or not, please let's try as much as possible to drive carefully. Very, very important. We already know how the roads are, so let's not add to the wahala by
So we know
high
exactly.
speed and all.
Welcome back. Second hour here. Let's do the news again. My name is Mazino Appeal. Now, earlier yesterday, the heads of state and government of the Authority of ECOWAS unanimously selected Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu to lead the regional body as chairman of the Economic Community of West African States. And shortly after his emergence as ECOWAS president, member countries of the Economic Community of West African States have congratulated Nigeria for the successful conduct of Nigeria's election that led to the emergence of President Bola Ahmed. Their messages were conveyed at the opening ceremony of the 63rd Ordinary Session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of State and Government. The President of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Sissoco Embalo, in his opening speech, commended Nigeria for the sustenance of peace and strengthening of democracy in the West African region. He also said the situation in Mali, the Republic of Guinea, and Burkina Faso with regards to the prolongation of the transition period represents a regression of the values of democratic rule of law adopted by member states through the Supplementary Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. He insists that the return of democracy in the three countries is significant in the search for political stability and promotion of democracy, rule of law, and the well-being of the people of West African sub-regional community.
I would like, therefore, to welcome President Tinubu to his first meeting of the ECOWAS Authority. On behalf of the community institutions, I would like to extend our felicitation and best wishes in piloting the affairs of Africa's biggest economy and the largest country, the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
To warmly congratulate our brothers President Ahmed Bola Tinubu of Nigeria and Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone on the election and their election, respectively, to the supreme magistracy of their country, and wish them great success and considering the fact of these two great brothers people.
Now, elsewhere, the federal government says it is taking decisive action to ensure the timely completion of the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project, which has faced significant delays. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works and Housing, Amadou Maman, made this announcement during a recent assessment visit to monitor the progress of the Abuja-Kaduna section of the road. The 375-kilometer Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road project, which was awarded by the Buhari administration in 2017 with a budget of 797.2 billion naira, was scheduled to be completed within 36 months. However, despite the initiation of actual construction in 2018, the project remains unfinished after 6 years.
The assessment from the Abuja-Kaduna end, a lot of problems. But why the project actually slowed down is mainly because of the security challenges. Now that the situation has improved, the contractor has actually promised to deliver that by the first quarter of next year, the whole length of the project is going to be completed. And I think we are going to take his timeline and go along.
Now, U.S. President Joe Biden is heading to Europe ahead of a NATO summit after several allies questioned his decision to send cluster bombs to Ukraine. The UK and Canada are among those who voiced concerns about supplying the bombs, which are widely banned because of the danger they pose to civilians. The U.S. says they are needed because Ukraine's weapons stocks are dwindling. Mr. Biden will be heading to Lithuania for this week's NATO summit. On Monday, that's today, after arriving in the UK, he will meet British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to discuss various issues, including the war in Ukraine. He will also meet King Charles for the first time since the king was crowned. Members of NATO, a military alliance of 31 Western nations, will then meet in Vilnius on Tuesday and also on Wednesday. And that's it for the news. Thank you for joining us. To stay tuned, Wake Up Nigeria continues.
It's Monday, perfect time to get motivated for the week. And today we will be discussing prioritizing for productivity with Gabriel Balogun, a dedicated advocate for transforming learning and development into a strategic business driver, leveraging a powerful combination of strategy, technology, people, and content. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us this morning.
Pleasure is mine.
Absolutely. Okay, so when I saw prioritizing for productivity, I was like, okay, we keep hearing about productivity, and then trying to create, prioritization for it. But then I wonder what your angle is to this, prioritizing for productivity.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
And I also think that over the years, and if you go on YouTube, go on Google, and you try to figure these things out, you get a lot of noise about goals and time management and all of that.
Yeah, I know, right?
But in order to be productive, you need to focus on two things. You need to be able to identify key results, not necessarily goals, but key results. And you also have to work on managing your energy, not your time. I mean, everybody has 24 hours. So in the real sense, you don't manage time, you manage energy, the things you do within the 24 hours you have. I usually say that the potency of productivity is being able to say, this is what I want to achieve, which is the key results. And then creating a system that helps you do the required tasks to achieve those key results. So let's say, for instance, I want to take my bath by 8 a.m. That's the key result. To ensure that I take my bath by 8 a.m., I have to wake up at a certain time.
Yeah.
Ensure that the bath soap, the sponge, everything is available. So those are tasks.
Okay.
So once I know what the key results are, I can reverse engineer by saying, these are the required tasks to do. And then I do those tasks at required times, and then I've achieved my goal.
So instead of talking about time management, talking about ambiguous ways to achieving this, practicalize it and zoom it down to two things: managing your energy, of course, being what you're using in achieving that goal, and of course, identifying that key result.
Yes.
I find identifying the key results really interesting because we tend to have so many goals.
Good.
We say we want to do this, we want to do that. But then how do you then, really zoom it down to the key results, identifying it?
All right,
How do you pull that off?
Let's say that, and over the years, these words are used interchangeably, objectives, goals, and all of that. But you need to be able to say that, so let me use the popular example. I want to get a job.
Okay.
That's the key result. I know that I have gotten a job when I get an offer letter, right?
Yes.
So that's what a key result is.
Yeah.
The goal could be, I want to earn $500,000 by the end of the year. That's the goal. But one of the key results to achieving that goal is getting a job. So that's the key result. So you've identified the key results. Then you have to define the tasks that lead to that key results. So I have to write a CV, I have to write a cover letter, I have to do a job search plan. Those are tasks that you must create or you must do to achieve that key result that leads to the goal. So the mistake is we are so focused on the goal, we don't know when the goal is met because we don't know the results
That we are actually seeking.
Yeah. And so when you've defined the tasks, you have to now put them in 4 brackets, or basically two brackets called important and urgent, split into 4 ways. So there's important and urgent. There is not important and urgent, rather. There is
Urgent,
not important, and then there is not urgent, not important. Now, whatever is important and urgent, you do immediately. Whatever is not important but urgent, you delegate. It's urgent, but it's not important to you, so you delegate it. Whatever is urgent but is not important, we mixed it up. Whatever is important and urgent, you do it.
Yeah.
Whatever is not important and urgent, you delegate. Whatever you you delegate, yeah. Now, whatever is not urgent and not important, you delete.
Delete.
Because it doesn't
Not,
make
not.
sense.
Okay.
Not.
Okay.
All right, so let's say we are looking for a job.
Okay.
Important and urgent is I must write a CV.
Okay.
Important and it's pretty urgent, I must write a CV.
Okay.
What may not be important but urgent is meeting somebody in the organization you want to apply for. And so you don't have to go to the organization yourself because you're already doing what's important. You can literally call somebody in the organization that is a friend that can speak to the HR personnel. So you've delegated that.
Okay.
Now, thinking of what you will wear on the interview day is not priority or important or even urgent at the moment. So you keep it aside, you delete it.
You delete it temporarily.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until it becomes important and urgent. And when you do that consistently, what you're doing with that is you are managing your energy.
You're not
you're not
wasting it.
That's the point. You're not running around. You're not getting burnt out. And you can do this across every aspect of your life. As a father, as a mother, as a husband, as a wife, anywhere, as a pastor, even as the CEO of an... In fact, this is simply the secret to what CEOs do that gives them the ability to do a lot.
You know, I find it interesting that you mentioned the parenting part, a father, a mother, because many parents today, they are very involved in parenting, both fathers and mothers. So you're trying to balance your, raising your children with keeping your job, and nowadays, still running your side hustle. And so you're trying to balance all of them together, just so that at least you can have a good family life, so to speak. How do you balance all three? Keeping your eye on the key results, which is, of course, earning a decent income, so you can pay all the bills, and ensuring that you don't burn out, maximizing your energy. How do you pull that off?
I believe that human beings are social creatures. And that means that nobody in the real sense is self-made. You need people around you to help you get stuff done, to help you get on with life. So for that individual, you need help. And sometimes when you work so hard to earn so much so that you don't have to do some things. And so there are certain aspects of parenting that you cannot outsource. You cannot outsource waking your kids up. You cannot outsource taking their baths for them.
Some people do.
Which, now, the problem... So if we put in our brackets, important and urgent, it is very important that you... Because that's when you have private conversations.
Yes, that's when you bond with your children.
If you outsource what is important and urgent in parenting, what would happen is that your child will be raised by someone else.
Yeah.
And then you will just be a figure.
Yeah.
But you are not a parent. So I think that the answer to that is outsourcing, and outsourcing to the right person. For instance, if I take this out of parenting and into organizations, startups, for instance, may not have enough budget to have a full in-house HR team.
Yeah.
They outsource the entire recruitment process so that they can focus on creating the product that would bring the money in. So every other thing is outsourced.
So basically, it's important for you to know, identify your key results, and of course, utilize your energy wisely, while also noting the important and urgent, not important, not important, urgent, and not important, not urgent, okay? So take note of all these factors, and they'll do you good, definitely, when prioritizing your productivity. Indeed, I say a very big thank you to Gabriel Balogun. Thank you so much for your time. And thank you as well for watching. Wake Up Nigeria continues. There's still a lot more coming on. Just stay with us.
Hello and welcome back. Now, finally, on the couch, we are going to be having the first and current president of the Africa Producers Network. It's a multi-purpose cooperative society, and her name is Oyiminu Raquel Odangla. It's great to have her here. She is the CEO of Grace Blossom Excel, a business and enterprise that provides women with premium menstrual hygiene products as well as organic skin food. It's great to have you right here on the couch with us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then. Now, I have to say, I'm so impressed whenever I meet people like you who have been able to, start something special in Nigeria and be able to thrive in that space. Yes. Can I touch on the issue of the women's hygiene products?
Okay.
So tell us the story on how that all started.
Okay, so it started this way. I was just tired of wearing mattresses in the name of using sanitary pad. Like, you know how it can be, like what we have there. Whatever you see is what you have. So I went to the Lagos International Trade Fair. Normally, I actually look forward to go for it, to seize opportunities. So I went there for shopping, and just when I was about to leave there, I came across this brand.
Oh, okay.
I was like, Sissy Box, what's this? And they're like, it's a sanitary pad. Like, this looks like a box of chocolates. Like, no, it's a lady's pad. I said, wow, this is nice, it's beautiful. I would like to try it. So I got it for myself, and I said, okay, how can I be part of this? I want to be a distributor. Like, I already fell in love with it. So they said, okay, that we'll call you, just drop your details. After the fair, we'll get back to you. We'll call you. So in fact, I was #1 on their list. So after the trade fair, I waited. I didn't hear from them. So I called them like, okay, you're supposed to call me. And they said, okay, don't worry that we are trying to, as we just trying to put ourselves together. I said, okay. So when they were ready, they reached out to me and they explained how it works. So I said, okay, I'm in. So
I'm really interested in brands who have sort of adopted this, could I call it direct sales approach? Is it a direct sales approach or a multi-level marketing approach?
No.
Okay.
I just signed in as a distributor, like, yes. So I have my products. Anybody, actually, when I signed in, so my jurisdiction is, I'm under Alimosho local government.
Okay.
Being the first person there, being the first distributor.
Yeah.
So anybody, like any retailer that wants to come on board in that environment, you have to sign up through me. You have to refer them through me. So,
Fabulous.
yes.
It must have been an interesting journey. I know that last month we had the World Menstrual Hygiene Day.
Yeah, wow.
And, you know, brands and products like this, especially competing with international brands.
Okay.
For instance, it must be a lot of pressure. I'm not sure in terms of balancing the different amounts. Now, which one is considered more affordable?
Well, it depends on like my target, people that well, this brand is not, I won't say it's premium, so it doesn't come cheap.
Okay.
So if you understand that you take your health as a priority, you will not just go for what is out there.
Okay.
So this brand is not, aside being premium, it contains anion.
Oh, okay.
And anion helps to take care of, it helps to prevent you from infection.
Okay.
And it helps to balance the pH level in the body. Okay, for instance, you get a phone, the first thing you do is to get a screen guard to protect it.
Sure.
So this one doesn't just protect you, like you're not using it just to absorb your flow, but it gives you that extra protection.
Okay.
Okay, you're not, as in no fear of having bacteria build up or infection. So that's what this brand does. And it's very comfortable.
I can only imagine. It's something that I know a lot of women have chosen different methods, you know, to stem their flow, so to speak. And they go for different brands for different reasons. Some need wings, some just need more adhesive. You know, some need more absorption. Some just don't want to feel like there's anything there at all. But, you know, it's all about target audience. Have you been able to identify a specific target audience, age group?
Yes, well, between 18, let me put it at that, 18 to 45 thereabouts.
Okay, 18 to 45. Okay, fantastic. So has it been easy to, let's use the term, distribute a product like this? Because I did notice images of trade fairs. I saw images of you holding the product up. But then again, you are competing against some major international brands with a lot of marketing budgets.
Okay, yes, of course. So it's not been an easy journey at all, but, well, it's been a challenging one, but I've been able to leverage on my community. And when I signed in as a distributor, I was able to also leverage on the supermarkets. Like I went to stores. Of course, some of them would tell you, okay, like rejection. So just be prepared to get a no for an answer, but you don't have to be discouraged. But I was fortunate to get a supermarket, a chain of supermarkets.
Okay.
They were able to accept my products. At that time, I was not looking at the profit, like making profit. I just wanted to get the visibility. Even being on the shelves, like it will be when people come into the place,
And they see it.
so it begins to register in their minds, in their consciousness that there's a new product. So one day, why can't I just try?
Okay.
So that was.
All right, so the initial target was, okay, get this product on shelves.
Yes, yes.
Let people see it.
Yes.
Let people be encouraged to try it.
Yes.
You know, I have to say you are with a network, or you are the president of a network.
Yes.
How has this network been able to help with this process?
Wow, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey. They've helped me. In fact, they really pushed me. Like, they really pushed me. I see myself doing things that I could not do. I go for, like, they help with human capacity, trainings. We leverage on each other's strengths. Like, it's a family. Like, I'm lagging somewhere, and so you just go, please, can you do this like that? We leverage on each other's network. So it's been an amazing journey. And we just had our exhibition last month. So yes.
All right. Now I have to say a very good luck to you. Once again, the name of the association is
African Producers Network.
The African Producers Network.
Yes.
I am a big fan of networks and people leveraging on strengths and, of course, helping people overcome their weaknesses, especially in business. And it seems like you have been able to take it to the next level, especially with CC Box. And I do believe there are other things you're working on as well. But at this point, we have to wrap it up on this conversation. Please, when you are, doing your next activations, let us know so that we can get involved. And then maybe we might even pop around.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
All right, then. Now, I have to say a big thank you to Raquel for talking to us about what she does. And hopefully it's inspired you and maybe an upcoming SME owner like you as well. I know that Mary and Mazino are on standby in the kitchen.
Standby?
Yeah.
We're gossiping.
Gossiping?
Gossiping. We could gossip about you, about everybody. We gossip everybody.
Wow.
I do not know what he's talking about.
Let me tell you what we said about you, Titi.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Titi, I told him that you're such a beautiful woman, and then he went on about something else. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, you're
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be back,
Enjoy
guys.
your week.
The
Bye.
week has started in an amazing way, and we can't wait to see you again tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., y'all. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.